The Yankee fans are very obnoxious. I am a Yankee fan. Anybody that knows me, anybody that's met me, I'm a diehard Yankee fan. But I know how to treat people. I know how to treat other fans. I know how to treat the New York Yankees organization because this organization for years has built a winner for me to watch. Hal Steinbrenner took over for George Steinbrenner when his father passed away. Swore to the Yankee fans that we'd keep the name alive. He didn't decide to sell the Yankees. He decided to keep the Yankees and ride with them. Brian Cashman has been with the New York Yankees for over 30-some-odd years. He's been the GM for over 25 years. He has been the face when it comes to GMs of baseball. He was a born winner before he took over the New York Yankees management job. We look at this team, and yes, they are not playing well. They've won a couple of games in a row. Giancarlo Stanton comes back. They whipped the Athletics' butts the other day. Great. And fans are upset because the Yankees in the month of August have practically been 4-14 for practically the whole month. They've won 4 games in the last 25 days. Now they're on a winning streak. You don't hear any more boos. The only boos you hear is at the Paul O'Neill ceremony when they announced Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner to hold a plaque with Paul O'Neill and take pictures. Brian Cashman is one of the more respected GMs in professional sports. Practically everybody that's worked under him has got jobs in the major leagues. One of them is working for the New York Mets. The GM, Epler, worked under Brian Cashman. The GM for the Marlins worked under Brian Cashman. I could go up and down each and every team in the majors, and at least one person in management worked under Brian Cashman. This man is very well respected. And Yankee fans, as obnoxious as they are, they should have some gratitude and respect for a man that did exactly what the Yankee fans wanted him to do at the trade deadline. They needed to add a bat. They added Benintendi, one of the best hitters in baseball. They wanted to add more depth in the bullpen. They added 2 pitchers to add into the bullpen. They added a starting pitcher like Frankie Montas, who is one of the better strikeout pitchers in the majors. Has he pitched well for the Yankees? That's not Brian Cashman's fault. Brian Cashman's just going to make a trade. That's his job. Not to trade away the big pieces, make sure that they get more out of the trade than trading away some of the youngsters that could become superstars in the majors. Yes, he traded Jordan Montgomery, and right now he's 4-0 with the St. Louis Cardinals. They added Bader. He hasn't played. He's been hurt. But obviously, Brian Cashman thinks that he is going to play a big part of this race by the end of the season, all the way into the playoffs. So why are the Yankee fans booing their GM and their owner? Their owner is one of the more respectable owners in the major leagues. Hal Steinbrenner has spent money. I don't know why any Yankee fan is booing this man. The Yankees have the 3rd highest payroll in baseball. They have 2 $300 million players. If they do sign Aaron Judge, he's going to be a $300 million player too. That's $900 million in 3 players. But Yankee fans are booing him. Winning has to do with the players. The management, they give the manager what they need to win. Then these players are supposed to find a way to hit, find a way to pitch, find a way to strike out, find a way to win. And they're just not. The Yankees were the hottest team in baseball going into the All-Star break. And they've been one of the worst teams in the major leagues since the All-Star break. Maybe it's because of injury. Maybe it's just because they're not playing well. Maybe because Aaron Boone has made mistakes with the bullpen. Maybe King and some of the injuries that they've had, major injuries, has cost the Yankees in close games. There is no reason on attacking the GM and the coach and the management and the owner in any kind of way for what they did at the trade deadline.
You got to give Montez a little more of a chance, too. I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt after the whole family incident, and he pitched a phenomenal game against the Mets. Battled through in the first inning and then was so efficient after that against a very good Mets lineup. So that's a good start for that kind of thing. Yes, you want to complain about Jordan Montgomery pitching like a Cy Young candidate now all of a sudden since he's gone to the Cardinals. Nobody, even Cardinals fans, expected that to happen. That is an overnight and maybe a small sample sample size. It's 4 starts right now. He could fall off badly right after that. And a lot of the other bullpen arms still haven't found their spots yet. Versatile bullpens are what matter in today's game. And that's why the Yankees did so well for the first 2.5 months of the season, was because they had guys that fit in new roles. Now they're just having a little more trouble finding it because they were just out of the rhythm. Once they get it back, I think they'll be very good again because they still have the depth on paper in that bullpen. Yes, Chapman is not the same pitcher. Understandable. We'll see how Zach Britton comes back. Yankee fans that are booing Brian Cashman are booing him because they don't know who these players are. It's your job to figure out the value of those players. Brian Cashman did that already, and a lot of his trades are gems because of that. A lot of these players that you become accustomed to loving originally started as Brian Cashman gems. Didi Gregorius, for example. Let's go back. He was a 7th hitter, 8th hitter, a defensive shortstop with the Diamondbacks. He became a top 10, top 5 shortstop in baseball with the Yankees. Who found him? Brian Cashman. Look at all that between the hitters and pitchers and say Brian Cashman is bad and you want to boo him all you want just because you don't know the player. Do your research.
Nobody wanted DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu was available. Nobody picked him up. And then Brian Cashman reached out. He was very close friends with the ex-GM of the Colorado Rockies, and he said, pick up this guy. This guy is a star. And what did Brian Cashman do? He signed him in a year contract, then extended the contract to 2 years.
Right.
He was there for 2 years. He won a batting title with the Yankees. And what did the Yankees do? A very good contract to one of the better hitters in baseball. 6 years, $80 million. They got a steal for DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu's been one of the best Yankee hitters in the last 4 years. Another gem that Brian Cashman found. We could go up and down the Yankees roster right now. Every one of those guys were Brian Cashman's guys. Everybody says, well, the Yankees were practically handed Giancarlo Stanton. Yeah, he was handed. Derek Jeter wanted to get rid of the contract. Giancarlo Stanton had a contract where he gets to choose where he wanted to go. He only said he wanted to play for the Dodgers and the Yankees. The Dodgers didn't want him, so the Yankees got him. Big whoop. And look what Giancarlo Stanton has done for the Yankees in the playoffs. All you fans booing him for the last 2-3 years as a Yankee. He's been the best hitter for the New York Yankees, hitting over 300. Has, I think, 6 home runs in the last 3 years with the Yankees. He's the only one that hits in the playoffs the last couple of years. Him and Gleyber Torres. But everybody booed him. I don't believe any Boston fans saying that all Yankee fans are rotten. That's not true. But you do not boo the owner and the GM for everything they've done for this organization. This organization has been a winner year in and year out. So what they haven't won a World Series in 11 years? So what they haven't won a World Series since 2009 with CC Sabathia, AJ Burnett, and Mark Teixeira, where they spent almost $500 million in the offseason. They're still one of the best teams in the majors, one of the top 5 teams in baseball, even going on a losing streak the way they did in August. You enjoy what you see because it might not be here forever. Now, there are stories coming out. Hal Steinbrenner says he will do everything he can to keep Brian Cashman. Brian Cashman is going nowhere in the offseason. So all the Yankee fans that think that Brian Cashman's done, he's weighed out his welcome, he's going to be here for another 3, 4, or maybe even 5 years because the Yankees are going to re-sign him because he's the best GM in sports. I have no idea why Yankee fans think that he's weighed out his welcome. Every single year, they're winners. They make the playoffs almost every single year.
They made the playoffs on a 2015 year that was supposed to be a transition year where their entire team was old.
So all you people, all the fans, all the haters out there that don't like Brian Cashman, enjoy because he'll be here for another 5 years.
And enjoy the gem players that you will be coming to like that you probably have never heard of this year.
Aaron Judge. A player that a lot of teams wanted to trade for, and he would not trade Aaron Judge for anything. Aaron Judge got called up, hit 50 home runs his rookie season, should have won the MVP, didn't.
He was screwed because Altuve was cheating.
Aaron Judge is the fastest player in Major League history to hit 200 home runs. If he continues playing the way he is playing right now, at the age of 30, if he plays another 7-8 years, he could hit 500 home runs. He could go to the Hall of Fame. Even though he came into the majors a little bit late in his career. I think he was 24, almost 25. So he was a little bit late to the party.
Right, which is the same issue Jacob deGrom might have if he doesn't have the longevity.
When you look at dominance, the first team, the first name that pops up in any sport is the New York Yankees. And there is a reason why they're still dominant. Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner.
It's time for Crunch Time.
Read the time. Got to see the pitch.
All right, we'll start this one in the NFL. Buy or sell, Aaron Donald will get suspended for his helmet-swinging brawl against the Bengals.
It is Aaron Donald, ladies and gentlemen. Why would the NFL suspend the best player in the whole league? It's not going to happen. Roger Goodell is going to push this under the rug like everything else when it comes to superstars. So I am going to sell it.
As much as he should be suspended, I agree with you. I am going to sell it too. They can't just possibly do anything bad to their darling LA Rams. They are not going to do it, even though they absolutely should, because that was malicious. I am going to sell it. All right, buy or sell. Pete Alonso will be the first non-Aaron Judge player to get to 40 home runs. Right now it's Kyle Schwarber, 35, Paul Goldschmidt, 33, and then him, 31.
I'm going to sell that. I think Paul Goldschmidt has the best chance to getting to 40. He's been the best player in the National League, and to me, he's been Superman in the National League. So I am going to sell that.
I'm going to sell it too. I think it will be Schwarber, actually. I think Schwarber, now with Bryce Harper back in the lineup, getting a lot more protection, much more of a free swinger than the other two. Goldschmidt hits for good average. Alonso good at going the other way. Schwarber always trying to hit home runs, so I am going to sell it as well. I think it will be Schwarber. All right, we'll go to college football now. The preseason top 5, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, Notre Dame. Buy or sell, only 2 of those teams will make the college football playoff.
I would say Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson. I think all 3 of those teams out of the 5. I think Clemson, I think Alabama, those teams are going to be the powerhouses this year. I question all the other teams that you mentioned because there's so many weaknesses and strengths that the other teams have. And I think Clemson this year, they're a powerhouse. They had a really good recruiting class over the last 2 seasons. And Alabama, as we all know, they are the juggernaut. So 3 out of the 5. I'm going to sell it.
I'm going to buy it. I think Bama and Ohio State are going to be the 2 guarantees. I'm not as high on Clemson, not necessarily for winning the ACC, but for getting that overall level. I think they will have a bad loss because there are some improved teams there. I just don't think they're ready this year. Miami could be a lot better. NC State could be a lot better. Georgia, they lost too much last year to be able to make it work. They might win the SEC East, but I don't know how easy it will be. And then Notre Dame, they always find a way to choke in big games. I'm going to buy it. It's only Alabama and Ohio State that make it out of that group. All right, buy or sell. Kayvon Thibodeau got injured. He still will play in week 1.
I'm going to sell it. If I were the Giants, I'd make sure and I'd protect my young superstar, make sure that he's 100% healthy like the Jets will with Zach Wilson, and then bring him in. So I do not believe he's going to play in week 1, so I'm going to sell it.
I'm going to sell it too. I think they can't risk it with all the injury issues they've had with Ojulari as well on the other edge, who left practice again on Friday, and not ideal circumstances for the Giants edge rushers that have not been good. So they have to be able to protect that kind of thing. So I am going to sell it as well. All right, one NBA one. Russell Westbrook would be traded and not bought out.
I'm going to buy it. I think he will be traded. The Lakers need to get something for Russell Westbrook. He still could play in this game. I still think he could play on a team that could use him, and he's still a guy that can average 18, 8, and 9. He could average close to a triple-double. So I'm going to buy he gets traded.
All right, I'm going to sell it. I think there's just not enough teams that are being willing to take on that offer. And
it's 1 year.
I know, but the Lakers are also in a tough predicament where they can't give either the extra draft picks or the extra players to make that kind of thing work either. I think it's just going to be a very tough market for them. So I am actually going to sell that one. I think it would have happened already if he was. All right, buy or sell. Right now, they're currently 2.5 games ahead. The Phillies now with Bryce Harper back will finish ahead of the Padres in the wild card race.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to buy it because I like the Phillies. I like what they did at the trade deadline. I love Bryce Harper. You put him in the middle of the lineup with Kyle Schwarber. That's a powerhouse in the middle of your lineup. You have a guy that can hit 35, 40, and another guy that can, even though he's missed the whole season, can hit about 40 home runs. And I think they're both going to be blasting them in the middle of the lineup. I think they have a lot of depth in that lineup. So I'm going to buy that the Phillies make it and the Padres fall out of it.
I'm going to sell it. I think the Padres bullpen has to wake up at some point too. Josh Hader's been a mess since he's come over there, and it's affected a lot of the other relief pitchers, kind of like we were saying with the Yankees before. They're just look out of whack right now. I can't imagine them staying this cold forever. The Phillies bullpen has been a lot better in the second half of the season. I will give them credit. I just don't know if they can weather the storm the whole way because they're reliant a lot on streaks. So it seems like they'll make it because the Brewers aren't playing well either, but I think the Padres will eventually pass them. I am going to sell it. All right, last one. Denzel Mims will be traded before the start of the season.
Absolutely, positively, he will. I do believe Joe Douglas was planning to trade him. Now that he comes out and talks to the public and his agent speaks out, now they definitely got to get rid of him because he's going to be nothing but a problem in the clubhouse and in the locker room. So I'm going to buy it. He gets traded before the season starts.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it too. I think Packers, Ravens, a lot of those teams, I think will definitely be pushing for that kind of thing, especially this late in training camp where they really haven't had an obvious thing in the wide receiver room. I know you mentioned Washington as well. They could definitely use some offensive depth. And I think the Jets will definitely be active when it comes to shopping them. I don't think Joe Douglas can be too stingy for this one, where it's going to delay everything because of what Denzel Mims already said. So he's still got good value back, but not the jump start like you've seen in the past with the Jamal Adams thing. So I'm going to buy it as well.